Hi everybody, this is Startup Bright and we're here today to talk all things startups related. Our guest today is Casper from AlphaBiz and he will talk to us about their idea to sell and buy businesses online. Hi.
Hi, Nick.
The way we start is usually I give 5-10 minutes for founders to pitch their idea, and then we can go further with the interview. So go ahead.
Hi, I'm Casper. I'm one of the founders of AlphaBiz Commerce. AlphaBiz Commerce is an online marketplace for buying and selling small businesses. We provide, in addition to the marketplace, business data to allow the buyer of a business to be able to compare important metrics to decide which business is the best one to invest in. In addition, we have a referral network which provides business vendors to help during the transaction phase as well as the startup phase.
All right, that sounds interesting. How did you come up with this idea?
A couple years ago, there was an article in Forbes magazine that talked about how there's only a few existing companies doing listings for small businesses for buying and selling small businesses.
And this is all businesses, not just like a specific niche, say franchises or
All businesses.
All kind of businesses, yeah. Okay.
And that article, the tone of that article was saying that there's a lot of opportunity here for new companies to break into that field to provide better service as well as better coverage. Existing listing websites kind of compete with small business brokers. Some small business brokers rely on their own website, their own marketing tools to list businesses. The big player in the field that's well known is a company / website known as Biz Buy Sell. They list some of the businesses, and there's also many other avenues which small businesses have already sold. Whether somebody walks in to to a business and says, "I want to buy this business." Sometimes it's kept within a family, within friends. Business owner networks, and other avenues for the buying and selling of small businesses.
So do you see yourself as a competitor to buy-sell businesses or a website, or more of a serving different needs or going into different niche? How do you position yourself?
Probably, I mean, there's enough of a market there that there could be many different ways for small businesses to kind of market themselves for sale. So we're a competitor, but there's more than enough business out there, working with online marketplaces as well as business brokers.
Okay, so let me ask you this: what is the stage of your product? Do you have anything that is already available, or you're still in development phase?
We're still in the development phase. We're moving toward the minimum viable product. Probably within a month or two, we'll probably be ready for beta testing. At the same time, we're ramping up our market research, reaching out to small businesses here in the Los Angeles area, finding out what's important to them for a successful small business.
So you're actually talking to your customers.
Yes.
You're trying to figure out what their needs are instead of building something and hope that's gonna fit their needs.
Correct. Every small business is different. Every field of small business is different. Within, say, one strip mall, you may have a liquor store, a small restaurant, a dry cleaner, and a convenience store. Each one will probably say there's something different about that location, that strip mall, that's critical for their success. So we're trying to, as we develop our website and our business analytics, determine for what type of business a buyer is looking for, what would be some of the key metrics for them to focus on. For some businesses, it might be parking space. For other businesses, it might be low cost. For other businesses, it might be good sign marketing, good signage. So every business is a little bit different, and we want to find out for the existing owners who have often been there successfully for decades, what they feel has been the critical thing for them.
I had conversations with your CEO before, and he mentioned that you guys are going to be collecting a lot of data points about each of these businesses, and this is one of the things that will help you differentiate from existing approaches and systems out there. How do you how are you gonna collect these data points? What is your plan to collect these data points?
There's probably going to be several different layers in our data collection. Every time we take a listing of a small business for sale, we will capture the data about that business. And throughout the transaction process for those businesses that will get offers and start the negotiation and closing process, additional data will become available. For example, just listing a business, you may not know a lot about, say, the revenue details. But as the buyer starts to do more due diligence, we'll learn more about what's, to use the cliche, under the hood about that business. And that data will be important for us to track, so we can start identifying metrics that may be important, say, for what it takes to be a successful, say, dental practice. That on first take, a lot of buyers may not realize.
I see. So let's say I'm a buyer. Let's say I'm looking for dentist practice, right? What do I need to do? Like, do I need to have an idea for a region before that, or I can just come in and start searching for dental practices in your listings and pick myself? Or you're going to be suggesting something based on criteria and my needs or my view of the business? How is that going to work?
I eventually want to provide a lot of flexibility to the buyer. Some buyers may want to open a dental practice because they went to dental school or they've been in the field for a long time. Some people are looking to buy something in the medical field, say in Los Angeles, but they don't know exactly what type of medical business they want. We also expect that eventually a lot of our buyers might be international. So they might be somebody in Tokyo looking to buy a small business in Los Angeles, and their main criteria might be revenue, or the main criteria might be capital assets. So we want to be able to provide the buyer with a much flexibility to select what criteria is important to them, whether it's the region, whether it's the business field, or maybe something else that's important to them.
Okay. And what is your revenue model? How do you plan to make money out of your idea?
Our primary revenue model will be through the listing fees. We're still exploring that during our market survey, but for say a small business owner or say a business broker to list on our site, we'll charge a fee maybe in the $100 to $200 range per month. And we're looking at, depending on how during our beta testing, our initial listings, we may adjust that. That may be a sliding scale. If it's, if a business may be taking a long time to sell, we may decrease that fee, or even go to a no-cost model after, say, 6 months. Like most small businesses, we want, everybody involved to be happy with the transaction.
So this is very much a subscription-based service that you're going to be offering.
Correct.
And you're not taking any commission or percentage from each deal that happens on your website.
There'll probably be a lot of variations to the players in the deal. Some businesses for sale will come with a broker or attorney who will be handling the legal aspects. So they will be collecting the fees or commissions. At some point in time, we may have small businesses come to us, kind of the business owner themselves, and we'll be providing a lot of the brokering process, either through business brokers, in-house or referred, or through attorneys. So, we may have some revenue through the brokerage fees, but primarily, starting out, we're going to focus on the listing fees.
So you're not necessarily kind of limiting yourself to a specific revenue model. you will be okay with subscription as well as transaction.
Correct.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your team. Like, who is in your team? What are their expertise, and why they joined your company?
Right. The team is still relatively small. We're still trying to find the right mix of people. In some ways, for kind of the current, say, startup environment in technology, a lot of people who do technology are very much heavily tech only. For example, you have a lot of people in technology who are doing phone apps or websites, or data analysis. Our company is a blend of technology with brick and mortar. So we're trying to find people that kind of have a passion, an interest, and an inclination to kind of blend the two, technology with, say, traditional small business brick and mortar storefronts.
Okay.
So the key co-founder is Casper. He's an attorney who has done a wide range of legal work, and he's the one who's really passionate about creating this marketplace and trying to increase the synergy, especially in a local area between local business owners and local vendors and people who want to open that first business.
You mentioned that you're talking to potential customers to understand their needs. Do you have any commitments from customers that they would say, if you have this online and ready, we will join you? Do you have people that show real interest to use your platform?
A lot of people say that. That's true in any small business situation, sales situation. We'd probably classify those, to use the terminology, as maybe cold or warm leads, or slightly warm leads. A lot of people said, oh, if that was existing, whether you're a small business owner or a business broker, that would be really great, and I would definitely want to use that site. But we haven't taken the next step, and that's something we'll probably be doing over the next few months with our MVP, or minimum viable product, in our beta testing, in terms of showing them the product, seeing, with, say, mock-up businesses, seeing what they think, whether or not that they see the value in that. Also, in terms of adjusting some of our initial price points, going through that process, some people will say, for what you're providing at this point, I may be, willing to invest in this much a month, but not, at the higher price point.
Yeah, and this is one of the issues that I see with startups. They usually work on something, they work on a product, they work on a service, and they don't talk to their customers. They kind of build their own idea about the problem, and when they actually present it to their customers, they have this big aha moment, or realizing that whatever they built is not necessarily the perfect fit for their customers' needs. And I'm really glad to hear that you guys are doing your homework and actually dedicating time to understand your customer and to talk to your customers first before you go too deep into building this service. How do you plan to get to your customers? What is your marketing strategy or marketing plan?
Eventually, we see ourselves as being international, so it'd probably be more traditional web-based marketing. But initially, we see ourselves as old school, walking door to door. Joining, being involved in local business communities like Chamber of Commerce's. For a lot of this, for a lot of small businesses, developing that trust is important. So meeting face to face, shaking hands, sitting down and having those long conversations about their business, why they started a business, what have been ups and downs, what advice they would give to somebody who took over their business. That's going to be an important part of our marketing, building that trust face to face, as well as being involved in community. With a lot of the Chamber of Commerce that were involved locally, as well as other organizations, nonprofit organizations, veterans organizations. We're getting well known in several different geographic communities here in, say, Central Los Angeles, San Fernando Valley, Conejo Valley, Ventura County. So again, we're building that trust because we're there time after time when somebody needs advice or legal assistance or brainstorming. We're there to help out. We're attending their for example, a Italian deli in Canoga Park just had the 50th anniversary, and we attended just to kind of show our support.
This is like normal B2B or old-fashioned networking and establishing good relationships. That, if I'm an investor, that would raise a question for me: how do you plan to scale your business? Because going door to door, knocking on every business on the street and offering your services is not going to scale cheaply and is not going to be fast. So what is your plan? How do you going to approach your scaling issues?
Working small and very in very hands-on, very labor-intensive way is going to be important for us to work out the kinks, build a trust, get real transactions in our belt, develop the traction, and get good testimonials. Once those things are in place, other people who may have never met us may be more willing to take that leap of faith because they see, for example, if we've done 10 or 20 transactions in San Fernando Valley, somebody in Santa Barbara County or Riverside County may be willing to trust us because we're obviously doing well in the Los Angeles area. And as we start to do well in Southern California, people in Northern California or Nevada might start saying, this might be a business that I can trust because I want to sell my business.
So I understand. So you will be kind of going door to door at the very beginning to get traction and get things going, and then eventually the word is going to go out and everybody will be talking about your product, and then you will be offering a kind of online onboarding. No need to be in person and do the interview and manual work.
That's correct.
Right. So tell me what you're looking for right now from investors.
Right now at this stage, the technology development is relatively at a small stage. So if we were to get an initial investment of about $500,000, that would help with the technology development, some of the technology infrastructure such as hosting on servers, as well as some initial payrolls for some of the key people that would be, for lack of a better term, are frontline salespeople. People who be doing that door to door, building those relationships, finding those people who are thinking about selling and convincing them to try our site, as well as building up relationships with business brokers who do this day in, day out. And hopefully we'll see our listing site as a addition to their marketing toolbox.
Yeah, this is I actually was listening to a podcast this morning, and they were talking there that lately things changed a lot when it comes to how startups utilize their fundings. It used to be a big chunk goes to the development of the technology or the service or whatever they develop. But recently, the big chunk goes to marketing, and there is a reason for that. We're trained, and in our history, it's been always hard to build something. Nowadays, with the state of technology, building something is not hard. Selling it and finding the proper customers is what is really becoming really hard because it's very noisy out there. You have to do a lot to get your service stand up and your company to be recognized as a good brand. So yeah, I'm kind of. It's good to hear that you plan to use a big chunk of this money for salespeople to go out, develop relationships, and bring in customers. The website and the technology side of things should not be that hard to be developed. And what is your um, plan, or rather, what are you ready to give to your investors for $500,000?
Yeah. At this stage, we really haven't thought a lot of detail about equity details. But equity would obviously be something that would be offered. How much would vary on the details and how far along we are. Another thing is most investors come with a wealth of knowledge about small businesses, how to make small businesses succeed. So having them also involved as on the payroll might also be another way for them to get get the return on investment potentially through payroll over time, at the same time having their hands in the company, steering the company and being more assured at the direction of the company, as opposed to, say, maybe a more standoff investor who will write the initial check and look for something 2 years down the line. We would rather have somebody who we would be having weekly or daily conversations with, reviewing some of our proposed changes, reviewing some of our market survey data with.
So you're looking for an investor that is not going to be just a passive investor to give you the check and can expect the return in a couple of years, or whatever period of time you agree upon, but an investor that is in that industry and can help you with connections and strategic partnerships and help you operate the whole company.
Right.
Yeah, that is usually the best investor you can find. Somebody that is more engaged with the startup and actually are willing, and not only willing, but they are eager to help, right? So do you have, I know it's early in this stage, but do you have any ideas or developed an exit strategy? The reason I'm asking is because again, somewhere in a blog post, I read that when you have your startup or have your idea developed, you should always start from the end, like thinking, what is your exit strategy? Why am I building this company? Do I want to have this company with me forever, or I plan to do or exit at some point? And the underlying idea or question would be, for example, if you have an idea to sell your company to Google, you have to know that when Google makes an offer and decides to buy your company, they will interview all of your engineers. They have to pass their interview process and be approved by Google. Only then they can talk to you about buying your company. So that affects your hiring process, because you have to find not just developers, they have to be really good developers to be able to pass the interview process and the selection by Google.
If we were to be bought out, since we're probably more, we're not strictly a tech company, we're more, say, a storefront brick and mortar company, some of the people that we may partner with for, say, a buyout or an acquisition may not be a traditional tech company. In some ways, we're a little bit like Craigslist. And Craigslist has been around for a long time as a standalone company doing well. And a lot of what we do in terms of helping people select a small business, helping small business select the best site to operate the small business or expand to, helping small business start up, in some ways that seems more like business consulting. So, another possible way for us to be acquired or partner with might be one of the big consulting companies. Mm-hmm. If a Ernst & Young or McKinsey wants to get more focus a little bit, because they're traditionally involved in Fortune 500. But there's, the growing area in not only the United States, but, internationally is small businesses. Mm-hmm. So if a big consulting company wanted to get more involved in small businesses, maybe purchasing, AlphaBiz Commerce might be one way for them to get involved with that.
Okay. It's interesting. I thought about your company and business model and everything you're trying to do with your customers, and probably it's a good idea to talk to one of the investors that I met at Kodu Startups. Yeah. Alex, yeah. You've seen him. He's a tall young guy from Belgium. He is looking to invest into idea stages, startups, but before he invests, he kind of wants to see if you can bring customers and have traction, right? That's right. The way he works. And if you actually have customers that you can start serving without the website, then that would be probably an ideal match, not only to Alex, but to a lot of other investors. They will say, okay, you have proven process, you can make money, now let's automate it, which is a different story, right? Well, do you have any, I usually ask my interviewees if they have a funny story to share with us, or I don't know, humiliating stories with your development?
None that I can think of right now. We're still early in the process, small team, evolving team, still trying to work out the bugs and kind of, just crystallize, some of our key ideas, our initial phases in the development process. So nothing humiliating at the moment.
All right.
Just the normal ups and downs of a small business
startup. Well, Casper, thank you very much for being on Startup Bright. And I'm looking forward to hear how you develop, and we can do this again in 3 months or something to just see where you are with your startup. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.